Welcome to Mrs. T special. For today, we're going to be making a homemade banana pudding. I know Thanksgiving is around the corner, and a lot of these young people are going to need to know how to make it homemade. The best way to a man's heart is to cook for him. So let's get started. The prep time would be about 5 minutes. Cook time about 35 minutes. Add 1 hour, probably about an hour and 40 minutes for the whole recipe. The ingredients you will need is you're gonna need 3 cups of milk, which I use the canned carnation evaporated milk. So you will need 3 cups of that. You're going to need 1/8 teaspoon of salt, 4 teaspoons of flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and you're going to need 1 whole egg, 4 egg yolks. Split it up from the 4 egg whites. The egg white will be used for the meringue, and we will discuss that when we get to it. And also you will need vanilla wafers. You will need the vanilla wafers. I use 2 boxes. I don't use them all. I get the big ones in the mini size. Also, you will need about 4 bananas, 4 to 5 bananas. And I'm only making a smaller recipe today for about 4 or 5 people. I'm not going to make a big pan. So the pan I'm going to use is an 8x8 cookware dish. Okay. Also, you will need a saucepan to start off on medium-high to start making the ingredients for the banana pudding. And I'm using a deep dish frying pan, okay? But you can use double dish, which I don't find them anywhere in my state nowadays. I'm not in the South, so I wouldn't be able to find one, but I have made it in a pot or either a frying pan. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna go ahead and just stir the flour and sugar together on medium-high. Then we're gonna add the whole egg. It don't need to be slightly beaten. You don't really need that. So make sure it's on medium-high. You're gonna stir that egg in there real good to get it all around. Now this should take some, after I get it all the ingredients in here, it should take about 15 minutes. The key is you gotta keep stirring. You do not want lumps. So the next step, we're going to go ahead and add the 1/8 teaspoon of salt. And stir that around a little. And we're going to go ahead and add that 1 cup of milk. I'm going to add the 1 cup of milk first. And I'm going to stir. Now you don't add the vanilla extract until the pudding starts to simmer. So make sure you're, again, make sure your stove is on about between 4 and 5, medium-high. And just stir. Just keep stirring. And we're just gonna let that cook for a minute. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the 4 egg yolks. just gonna stir. Now I'm just using this spatula just to get everything filled out, and then I'm going to whisk it. I'm going to use a whisk eventually. Just let it keep boiling down. Gradually, I'm going to go ahead and keep adding a little milk at a time. What I like to do is, remember I said you're going to need 3 cups of milk. So what we're going to do is gradually add more milk. Go ahead and add that 2nd cup of milk now. And just keep stirring. Medium. Keep the stove on medium. Just stir. And also you want to go ahead and make sure that your oven is on. Make sure your oven is on and preheat it to 400 for the when you get ready to put it in there. So I'm gonna start whisking. So we're gonna stir gently. Just gonna stir. I mean, you don't have to stir the whole time. You want the pudding to thicken, and it will thicken. So I'm gonna let that stir a little. I mean, cook a little. As the pudding starts to thicken, that is when you want to add the vanilla extract. So we just, as you can see, a little thickening coming in, and you just constantly stir. And it is best, you can use a egg beater, you can use a whisk, you can use a fork or a spoon, however you prefer to stir, but you want to whisk. I prefer whisking. So like I said, this should take about 10 to 15 minutes. So as the pudding starts to thicken, you do want to add the vanilla extract. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add that 1 teaspoon of vanilla because the pudding is starting to thicken. And I'm going to gradually go ahead and add the last cup of milk in here. So as you can see, it comes out like pudding. The key is to keep stirring. You don't have to start to thicken, then you can go ahead and add a little in here. And believe me, homemade banana pudding is the best, and you're gonna love it. Mouth-watering. Oh. I'm going to go ahead and add the remaining of the cream. And I'm going to keep whisking around. And you can also When it starts to thicken, you can also lower the heat if you want, so it won't get start popping up. And remember to have your oven on 400 preheated. Heat it when you get ready to do the meringue. Okay, the pudding is almost ready, but prior to this, I'm going to go ahead. I already prepped for the meringue for the topping of the banana pudding. This is just about done, and I'm going to, I have the stove on very low. I'm just going to let it simmer for a minute, but don't forget, we're going to be baking this. Your oven must be on 400 preheat. Let's go ahead and start the meringue. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start the meringue. Remember the 4 egg whites I told you about earlier that you set aside? We're going to go ahead and add this to a mixing bowl, because I'm going to use my Kitchen Aide to make this. And then you will also, in order to make the meringue, you're going to need those 4 egg whites, and you're going to add the sugar with it, which is 1/4 cup of sugar. And what I do, I stir this. We stir it, and make sure the bowl is dry. If it's not dry, your meringue won't come out right. So I like to stir it before I go ahead and put it in the blender to blend it. So stir that real good. You can use a spatula or a fork for that. So we're going to go ahead and, okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to, if you have a Kitchen Aide, it will be very helpful. So you don't need this up high. So what I do, I let it like stir it on 2, and I let it stir until it is fluffy white. I just go about my business and just let it stir. And if you got a whisk, you can use a whisk, but it's going to take a while for it to become white and fluffy. You want this white and fluffy. Remember, you need to use a dry bowl. Make sure it's not wet. And also, I know there's something else that people can use, cream of tartar. If you plan on using a cream of tartar for your topping, use 1/8 teaspoon of that, okay? Instead of the egg whites and the sugar. So we're going to let this beat, and what we're going to do is start the banana pudding. So my next step is I start my crust by crumbling up. I use a small baby vanilla wafers for that, okay? So what I like to do is go ahead and start the crust while the meringue is making. And you don't have to use the whole box for this to do the crust. Now for Thanksgiving, if you're making a bigger recipe, you can increase your ingredients. Okay, and then what I do is go ahead and slice the bananas. And we do it in layers. And just slice them in small pieces. And you will have to let this chill before serving it, because you're going to have to bake it. Slice them up. Slice the bananas very thin. But you only need 4 bananas for that. Shouldn't take a lot. Just slice them around and cover the whole okay, so once you've done that, this is when you start the pudding. Throw a little pudding over it. This is just not all, don't use all the pudding on the first round. Then you're going to go ahead and repeat the second step. The first step, actually, I mean. So once we do that, so what I do is instead of crumbing the cookies, I just throw them in here. Do other bananas, do more bananas. So like I said earlier, just repeat the first step for your second layer. Spread it out, and we can do more cookies. Now you can use the big vanilla wafers. I just figure you get more using the small ones, but I use the big ones to line the bowl with, and you will see that in 1 minute. So now we're going to go ahead and add the remaining of the pudding. Spread it out evenly. And what we do is spread it out evenly. And now this is where the bigger size vanilla wafers comes in at. What I do is line my around the banana pudding with them, and they're so good when they bake. I try not to use the broken crackers, the cookies. Just line it around there, push it down in there. All the way around. And this is what I do. I use the last banana. Or you could have, I've used the last banana in step 2. You could have used both of them, but I like to do this and add more cookies on top. Spread it out, and what we do now we lay the cookies on top. Just lay the cookies out evenly on top. And put it down. Let's throw one right in here. And maybe one right here. This is your crust. Okay. Okay, so now that the meringue is ready, so like I said earlier, you can use just an egg beater by hand. You can stir this with a whisk, but you want it to look just like this, white and fluffy. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and spread this over the banana pudding. And we're going to let this bake for 8 to 10 minutes, okay? Until brown on top. This is the best homemade banana pudding, mouth-watering, tasting good. And it will be a hit at Thanksgiving, ladies. Or guys that likes to cook. Okay, then we just do a little. Okay, here is the banana pudding after it baked for 8 to 10 minutes to harden the cookies and to brown the meringue on top. The next step is, which is the final step, is you let it refrigerate for 1 hour before serving. If you like it, please like, share, comment, subscribe for future recipes. Thank you for joining Ms.T. Enjoy the recipe. Have a good day. Bless you.